This here is POLA. This is a two-player game from 20 to 45 minutes. And this is basically tic-tac-toe and chess forming together in a 3D version. Because in this game you are trying to make patterns to get the most score. And you will do that by building up a 3D cube. This cube is 3 by 3 cubes and you are trying to simply make the best pattern. There are different game modes in this game and I am going to walk you through what the different modes actually do. There are also some special cubes in this game that you can use beyond the normal mode. Of course it is recommended for you to start with the normal mode and then move on to the more advanced modes. But I am going to show you the quite simple setup of this game, but also how to play it. So let's just take a look at this. At the start of the game, each player will get 13 basic cubes each. These are the cubes that are used in the basic game, but also in the advanced games. These are placed in front of the players with the central cube in the middle. The central cube is the piece that has magnets on all sides, and this is the one that we will use to start building up the cube with. In a normal game, the players will receive 2 special pieces for their game. In an advanced games, the players will agree on a number of special pieces that they will be choosing in their gameplay. Now that we have our cubes in front of us, we are ready to start playing the game. And this game is quite easily played with the players passing this central piece in between the players. When the player have the cube, they put one of their cubes on the central piece, trying to make a pattern so they can score points at the end of the game. How do we know who starts the game? Well, it is actually recommended for you to do a little bit of tic-tac-toe before you start to play this game. So take out a piece of paper, draw up a little quick tic-tac-toe pattern and play one game. Whoever is the winner, well, that person becomes the first player. And this is also a good way for you to just get the thinking right, because you need to start thinking in tic-tac-toe pattern, but also in a 3D pattern when you are playing this game. So just a normal tic-tac-toe game is a good warm-up for this game. If you do not want to do that, well, you can just do it in any other way. You can do rock, scissors, paper, or whatever it's called to see who's the first player, or simply just agree on who will go first. But what can you actually do on your turn? And how do you do it? So this here is the central cube. This is the cube that we will start to build up the main cube around. When you get this cube in your hand, you get to place your cube on the central piece. Now, these won't fit together in just any way you want to. As we can see on your cube, there are lowered placements on it, but there's also raised spaces on it. Meaning that any place that you want to put on the cube won't fit together as perfect as it does right now. You can of course not put the magnets against each other's because, well, physics won't allow that. So you need to find a placement where the cubes actually fit together good. And when you place your cube, you should always think about what you are placing that faces to the side of the cube. Because the sides are where you will score. Meaning that whatever side you are placing that will face another cube in the future won't contribute to your scoring. It is only the sides that are facing out. So this here would be the start of a cube. Once you have placed your cube, the next player will get this piece in their hand, and then they will start to build their own pattern. And just like you, they won't be able to place it any way they like to. So they will need to find a pattern that will fit them. Again, their sides are what will count in the future and not what will be facing in the cube. They can place it on your cube, but they can also choose to place it on the central cube itself. And again, when they have placed their cube, well, the turn will go on to you. And then you will get to place your cube again. Now you will of course have more options. You can choose to place it on the central cube. You can choose to place it on your own cube and build it out to the sides, but you can of course also put it on your opponent's cube if you want to do that. So now we are starting to see the 3D pattern. And the next player will of course keep on building, so we are making a 3x3 pattern. Meaning that now the next player cannot place a cube up here, as that would just expand the cube in the wrong direction. Now they would need to keep themselves within the 3D pattern of a 3x3 cube. And that's the way the game goes on. The players passing this piece back and forward, placing their pieces on the cube and building it up until we have made a full 3x3 cube. And this might look quite easy, but it's actually not. You need to really keep on thinking in a strategical and tactical mode, because at the end of the game you will score for whatever pattern that you have made on all the different sides. So you can't just think about one side when you are placing. No, you also need to think about what will happen on the next side, and so on throughout the entire game. So this is quite a mind nut for you, and I really like it. So once we have built the whole cube, it's time for us to calculate how many scores we have actually received. But how will we do that? So we are ready to calculate scores, and we will do this by going from side to side to see how many points we have received. And now these are only the basic cubes, meaning that on these faces here you will only get scores if you have 3 in a row or diagonal. So the black player here, for example, he would get 1 point plus 1 point, but also 1 point for the diagonal pattern. But the white player here would not get any scores for this side, as they did not manage to get 3 in a row. If we move on to the next side, we can see that here the white player actually managed to get 1 score, and the black player managed to get another score. This is the way we go on counting our scores around the cube. But what do the special cubes mean? So remember that in a normal game, each player received 2 special cubes each, right? And in an advanced game, well, you agree on a number. You could use 1, 2, 3, or all of them. It's all up to you. But you cannot place these special cubes any way you would like to. No, they need to be placed on a special placement out on this main cube. The bomb, for example, this one needs to be placed in the central placement of the cube. So you cannot place this one out on the corners or on the sides. No, it needs to be placed in the middle. But what does the bomb do? Well, the bomb is actually quite brutal, because this one will cancel out all scores for the players on the side that it is placed on. Meaning that in this case here, well, the black player will not get their 2 points. But if you instead play the rocket, this one will actually double the amount of points that you get on the side where the rocket is placed. Meaning that the black player here would get 1 point, plus 1 point, plus 1 point, plus 1 point, giving them a total of 4 points times 2. So the black player would get 8 points on this side. And the rocket can only be placed in the central placement. The next special cube is the cat. No, not this one here. Yeah, that's right. This one right here. The cat can only be placed on the corners of the cube. And they will let you score for every basic cube that you have next to the cat. But it needs to be your cube. So this player here would score 1, 2 points for being next to the cat. But they would of course not score for the other player's basic cubes. It's only their own. The ghost, meaning the cube that has no face on it at all, can only be placed on the sides in the middle. And this one lets you score on any horizontal or vertical lines that you form by using the opponent's cubes. And this can be the opponent's basic or special cubes. Meaning that the black player in this case would score 1, 2, 3, 4 points by using this special cube. Next we have the horse. This one can only be placed on the sides of the cube. And the horse here will let you score if you create a little L. Meaning that if you have your own cubes on the sides of the horse, you will score 1 point. Creating this little corner piece here. The last one we have is the joker. The jokers here are quite some special pieces because at the start of the game, if you choose a joker, you need to announce which cube the joker will become. Because the joker can be any one of the other special pieces. So if you, for example, choose a joker, you need to declare if you want it to be a bomb or a cat or a horse or whatever you would like to have. And this actually makes the jokers quite powerful because you cannot have the same special pieces as your opponent has. Meaning that if your opponent have chosen to use the rocket, for example, you cannot choose the rocket as well. But that is where the jokers becomes quite handy, because all of a sudden you can say that, well, now this is a rocket, and then you can have a rocket as well. But you will of course need to follow the placement rules of the special cube that you choose. Meaning that if you choose it to become a horse or a cat, you will need to place your joker on the corners of the cube. And if you want it to be a bomb, it needs to be in the middle and so on. But these jokers here can make quite a big difference in the gameplay. And that is how you play the game. You start by passing the central piece between the players, building up the cube. Once you have built the cube, you calculate your scores. The player with the highest amount of score is the winner of the game. And I think that this game is just a perfect little example of how you can take a quite simple idea and make it quite tactical, quite strategical, and quite hard to actually manage to complete and get the most score. Because there's so many ways of you to build up this cube. Also with the special pieces here, they just put on an extra layer in this game. And all of a sudden you need to watch out for bombs. Maybe you build up the perfect side here. You're thinking that you are going to score a lot. And then the player just puts in a joker there and all of a sudden it's a bomb and you score nothing. Or you can score double by using the little rockets and so on. There's a lot of possibilities for this game. I also love the fact that you can bring this game pretty much anywhere. It is a perfect travel game. I mean, you could have this on an airplane, you could have it on a train, on the beach. It really doesn't matter if they get dirty or get sand or anything on them. And you also get this little bag here just to bring it along quite easy on any journeys you would like to go on. And POLA have actually been created in a way so people that has impairments can also play the game. This is accessible for every player. Plus, if you don't think that a 2-player game is enough for you, there will be a 4-player version as well in the Kickstarter. The designers behind this game also have another quite crazy idea. They want to send this beautiful little gravity-defying magic cube to space, to the IIS space station. Now, they are trying to raise money through the Kickstarter to get this little cube up in outer space. And hey, why not, right? I mean, you could pretty much bring this game anywhere, so why not space? So here you have a game that you pretty much can bring out in any occasion. I mean, if you sit home one day, it's raining outside, you really don't know what to do with the kids or with the family, well, bring out this little game and all of a sudden you have hours of fun because there is a lot of replayability in this game. And it's pretty much for all ages. I mean, grown-ups can sit down and have a lot of fun with this by just eating a pizza or whatever you're doing, or also with the kids, and it really evolves their way of thinking outside of the box. I mean, you have tic-tac-toe, you can play that for hours, right? All of a sudden on this one, you have several sides. And if you play with younger kids, well, you can pretty much just say that the special cubes are just a normal cube, and they just need to form the pattern, either vertical or horizontal or diagonal, just to keep it simple for the ones that are younger. But I mean, I think that you can pretty fast evolve their way of thinking by just putting in little corner pieces. Maybe the bomb is a lot of fun for kids because they like to eliminate their parents for some reason. Well, anyway, this is a brilliant game for pretty much all ages. There you have it, my friend. That was POLA, a 3D magnetic game where you compete against your opponent to build and score on the patterns that you build. This game will be out on Kickstarter in August of 2023. If you want to know more about this quite brilliant game, well, take a look at the links down in the description and you will come straight to the pages where you get more information. If you like my video, if you like what I'm doing, you can subscribe to it, you can give me a thumbs up, comment, whatever you want to do. But most importantly, my friend, please do not forget to keep on spreading that board gaming love I know you all have. Peace out.